Hi all, just Jacinta here. Welcome to DEADSET, episode 3, Stupid Scomo said. Now, straight up, this one's coming to you a little bit late, and it's coming to you from my daughter's room, partially because my house is overrun by children at the moment with the first week of school holidays, and during the first week, this time around, we have 5 children in the house at the moment, so it's yours, mine, our scenario my husband and I have going. And also because she's got some of the best lighting in the house. It's actually kind of amazing that I hadn't noticed it previously. So the title for today's episode will be confusing for some and provocative for others. To explain for those who might be confused, Scomo is the nickname that we have for the Australian Prime Minister. For those who might find it provocative, well, I guess you and I have completely different political sways, and that's fine by me. I'm going in anyway. I will give you the tagline that the headline, I should say, that the media use, because they always sensationalize it a bit more than it needs to be. The statement that was made and the reason why it was stupid. I should just dive right in. Stupid number 1. Struggling to rent, keep up with the cost of living? Buy a house instead. Now, the exact quote is, it's about Australians getting into homes. The best way to support people who are renting a house is to help them buy a house. The reason it was stupid is this was in response to why he was not interested in providing rent relief for Australians struggling to keep up with the cost of living. And when I first saw this straight up, I thought, no. Like, this has got to be like The Chaser or something, taking the piss. And then I realized, oh, okay, no, this is actually his perspective. He actually thinks that by assisting with deposit, that's going to make a massive amount of difference for most of the average Aussies and those who are below the line of the poverty line. The reason it's stupid is because that's not helpful. I'm trying to censor myself here. It's not helpful at all to most of the people who are affected by the issue that was presented to him. For some people it will help, but for the majority it will not. The problem isn't just the deposit criteria in our country. The problem is that the banks have really strict criteria on earning and expenditures. Even if you are good with your expenditures, they will assume that your expenditures are higher than you say that they are. And I know this is someone who has applied for a loan, does actually own their first home on a dual income, I might add. And it was hard for us to get that happening even. So for someone who is a single income, this just isn't viable, even if the deposit is assisted with. Point number 2. Prime Minister doesn't know the price of a loaf of bread, petrol, and a rapid antigen test because he doesn't go out and buy those things. The actual quote is, now I'm not going to pretend to you that I go out each day and I buy a loaf of bread and I buy a litre of milk. I'm not going to pretend to you that I do that. And I'll leave those sorts of things to you, mate. You can run it. But the point is, I do my job every day to ensure those things are as affordable as they possibly can be. This was after 2 minutes of blathering about hard choices that governments make, and in a, quite frankly, super condescending voice. You can go check it out if you like. I was actually mortified that was how he chose to respond to this. And it was clearly because it caught him off guard, because he was looking for a list of some sort at the time. The question was, can you tell me the price of a loaf of bread, a litre of petrol, and a rapid antigen test? The reason it's stupid. Now, I don't think it's stupid that he didn't offhand know the answers to those questions. I would agree if you don't, you've got other priorities, you don't do the shop for yourself. I don't think many people expect that he did. Then you probably don't know the answer to the question. The problem that I have is the way he answered the question, because this actually, something similar came up recently with the opposition leader, Anthony Albanese, and he didn't know offhand the unemployment figures, which, I mean, yeah, it'd be great if he did know, but at the same time, they're both juggling a lot of details. I don't actually expect them to know off the top of their heads. Someone probably should have provided them for them, but how these men handled the answer to the question is the way I looked at what appeals to me personally. The response I saw from Anthony was a little bit more on the humble side. He admitted that he did not know the answer, but it wasn't coming from a place of, I'm too important to know the answer to this. That is the definitive vibe that I got from Scott Morrison. The reason that's stupid, like you don't want to seem like you're out of touch with the people who are going to be voting for you. So his condescension of the average Australian problem compared to the importance he places on his own job is, well, it's stupid. Point number 3. Get the right amount of fingers up. I'm not going to cop sledging of Australia. I'm not going to cop that on behalf of Australians. Was the response Scomo gave after he was accused of lying by the French president, and his department leaked a single text message sent by the French president, Emmanuel Macron, regarding our country reneging on a deal with France regarding a multi-billion-dollar contract for submarines after we formed a security alliance with the US and the UK. This one is a little bit on the messy side. The reason I find this stupid is because it reminds me of YouTuber drama, honestly. So what happened? We had a deal with France, multi-billion-dollar deal with France, regarding the submarines, and we made this security alliance with the UK and the US, and as a result, the deal fell through. Now, there was a text message, the one that was leaked was from Macron to Scomo asking if the deal was still good. And that's supposed to prove that Macron already had knowledge that there might be some issues with the deal going ahead because of the security alliance. That doesn't prove that you didn't lie if you reneged on a deal, because reneging on a deal is still a lie. Now, you might have good reasons to have done that, but the French president's still got a right to be pissed that you backed out of a deal that you made. So the fact that he doesn't trust Scomo is perfectly reasonable as far as I'm concerned. The other thing that I think stupid about this, well, no, there's 2 more things. One of the other things that I find stupid about this is that Scomo's then gone, I'm not copping a sledging of Australia. Australia was never sledged. The French president actually, when he was first asked about his relations and his trust with our country, he said that he respects our country and appreciates our people or loves our people, something to that effect. He never said a bad word about Australia or Australians. When he was pressed with a direct question, do you think Scott Morrison lied to you? His response was, I don't think, I know. He never sledged Australia. He never sledged Australians. He just said that Scott Morrison lied to him. So for Scomo to turn around and try and make it about how he's defending Australia when it is perfectly clear that he is defending himself, there's one of 2 ways I could think about it. Either he is trying to divert the attention so that the average Australian gets angry and goes, oh, French president, horrible man, rah, rah, rah. Or the man is genuinely arrogant enough to believe that he is Australia. I'm hoping it's the former and it was a diversion tactic. I'm assuming it's the former and it was a diversion tactic. And the reason I think it was the diversion tactic, not arrogance, is because of the third issue I take with this. The text that was leaked, Scott Morrison was smart enough to neither confirm nor deny whether or not it came from his department. However, he did also kind of confirm that it came from his department, because he then went on to reference it as a reason that Macron was full of shit, was basically the gist of it. But they only leaked the one text, Macron's text. They did not leak any lead up to that, any form of communications, or even any responses. And when he was asked about his response, Scomo turned around and said, oh, I told him that we needed to talk so I could tell him as soon as possible. See, I'm sorry, honey. You can't provide like one receipt and say that you've got receipts on the entire situation. The fact that you have provided what they said, but you didn't provide what you said, someone probably should have shown him how YouTube internet drama plays out, because it's as I said, it's very much like an amateur YouTube drama happening up here. The fact that it was so messy, I just found myself entirely embarrassed by our leadership on a global scale, because this wasn't just picked up by our country, this was picked up all over the place. And it makes me cringe. It is total cringe for me. So that's why I think that one's stupid. And at this point, that I think is all we are going to have time for. I I actually have quite a fair bit more. I haven't decided yet whether or not I will do a part two on this or whether I'll just leave it. And don't worry, liberals, conservatives, I do keep an eye out to see if there's anything stupid said by the Labour leader as well. I don't actually follow Labour either. I don't consider myself political. I actually hate the two-party system. So, and just a heads up, I will not be engaging in any political conversation or arguments in the comments on this one. I don't follow politics. These were just some things that I thought that were really stupidly phrased or handled poorly. That's all this is about. You want to argue policies? That's fine. You can argue policies, just not with me. On that note, stay safe, stay sane, and I love you. Bye bye.